Sorry about last week. I was sick.
No, it's
How are
fine.
you feeling?
I'm good. I'm like 99%. I'm fine. But I did the right responsible thing and take a day off.
Yeah.
Instead of like push it out and like go and like get worse.
Well, 4 of them have a concert.
Yeah, 4 are.
Yeah. Somebody take attendance.
Josh is probably going to just
Can you guys move in so I'm not
Yeah.
peripheral vision?
Actually, it's in Bella.
Where's Grace?
Bella.
Bella.
She's being crazy. She's doing ECU Northwesterners and Bella.
What happened to your straw?
So you're gonna record? Are we recording tonight? Yes, we are. There it is. Can you move that chair?
Oh, this chair?
And we're gonna move around a lot. We're gonna go to the mallets. So.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
Hey guys! In percussion.
Haley,
I didn't want to eat this apple,
Hallie. I'm sorry.
but I was
Hallie.
messing around with it in the foyer.
I wish I
accidentally ripped it in half.
My high school
Why
kids.
And I was like, I can't save the apple
Don't take offense,
My mom called
What do
me
you mean?
Haley yesterday, so.
Hallie.
because I had accidentally ripped it in half.
So you're eating the core too?
Josh, is he gonna show up?
You don't eat the core?
No.
It might just be.
I'm pretty sure there's like arsenic in the seeds or something.
Yeah, but it's not enough to even remotely hurt you. Maddie, do you eat the core of your apples?
I have not done
So Grace
Do you
has
eat
a
the core of your
concert.
apples?
You guys help me. Grace Ellis has a concert.
Yeah.
Grace is at the concert.
Caitlin.
I'm here.
Caitlin. Ashley Harrington. Jocelyn concert. Madeline Jorgensen. Madeline. Raven.
Hello.
Abigail is concert.
Yep.
Madison. Megan McKenzie. Hello. Caitlin had to drop.
She didn't know she was in this class.
Oh, well,
For the longest time, I was talking to her about it the other day, and she's like, I'm not in that class. I'm like, yes, you are. Your name's on the roll. She had no idea.
Text. So today's the 11th. Read up to page 272 up to timpani. You guys really want to be band directors? Choir directors?
Yeah.
You got summers off, you get a paycheck. You got to be passionate. If you don't, some jobs you do just to pay the bills, but like being a teacher, but being a music teacher, and I suspect that all you guys have a little bit of passion. This is kind of what I want to do. I understand it. I want to like pass on the torch. Is that correct? So I want to be teachers. So.
Well,
I never thought I was going to be a teacher. I thought I was going to be a performer. I was for like 20 years, and then I kind of. But as a performer, you have to be a teacher to like just make all the ends meet.
yeah. Well, I want to direct for Conti's youth choirs, and then I want to have a music therapy studio. So kind of teaching.
So you've been a part of Contus? Okay.
Yeah, I've been at Brian Conti's for 10 years.
Nice. Yeah, this is like my 4th year doing their stuff.
Oh,
I'm the drummer.
okay. That is where I recognized you from. I could not figure it out, and now it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is my 4th or 5th year doing it.
Yep. Yep. Now yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Someone took apart the drum cage this last time, and we're really scared to put it back together because we tried to put it together before the winter concert, and it did not end well. So, yeah.
Should
There were
I
other
point this
mistakes
towards
being
people who are
apart.
talking?
Just pick it up.
I was there.
You guys doing the reading? Please tell me because you are going to take a midterm and a final. And
Woo, midterm. I'm excited.
What is the performance portion of that midterm?
Performing.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to figure that out in the next week or so. Some basic technique he's showing me. And today we're going to go to the marimba you guys, why don't you guys each ask me a question about the text, and then we're gonna go up over there. Raven.
Yeah, so one of my questions was with such a wide variety of mallets to use, like what should a student start with? And when should they start, you know?
Acquiring their own mallets, or like,
Yeah,
like as
yeah,
a
like
band or
getting a
orchestra?
collection, you know? Because I'm certain that you're going to use all types of mallets as you go.
You'll kind of know when you have like band geeks, like guys are like, oh, I love to be in the band room. I want to buy mallets. Like I want one for Christmas, you know. Like their stick bag. What should be in their stick bag?
Mm-hmm.
Let me make a note. I'll bring the generic stick bag next week. Does everybody understand Raven's question? Like what, you know? Because it's a twofold question. It's like what should the kids acquire on their own, and it depends on your budget as a music educator, whatever you're conducting. Choir, vocal, jazz, choir, or orchestra, band, junior high or high school. It's like, okay, well, what am I going to have? I mean, we can go back to the drum cabinet right now. So I'm answering your question, but I'm doing it sort of in my own way. What should kids have? Can you guys come back here with me? Well, before we discuss what kids should have, let's see what the band room has. So, yeah, you take your notes.
I don't know how to switch the camera. Okay.
What is this called right here? Percussion cabinet. Yeah, hopefully you guys have one of these in your orchestra or band room
Oh.
before you show up. If you don't, you're gonna have to order one. It is what it is. With mallets. Oh, they're actually pretty. These are mine. So you guys have your SD, you know, your drumsticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Every kid should own their own. But then in addition to this, in addition to that, these are mine. Why do I hold 4 here? Because sometimes if you're in high school, you might have a kid who actually starts holding 2 mallets in each hand. You know what this is?
The chime mallet.
Yeah, what are they called? Chimes? What's another name for chimes? There's tubular bells.
Oh.
TB. Have you ever heard that phrase, tubular bells or chimes? It's synonymous. Tubular bells or chimes. This is a very small mallet, but you guys are going to need it. This is not great because a lot of more contemporary chime mallets have a felt or a leather side, a soft and a hard, so you have an option. This is for the chimes. You'll talk about that.
You need that.
Yes.
Essentials.
Yeah, this is not a great selection. I'll bring mine. So in terms of what you guys need to have a successful percussion section, in terms of having choices as to what kind of mallets to play on what instruments, you're going to need, can you write this down as you're standing up? So mallet selection, what's this called? This mallet selection. But mallet selection, budget. It all has to do with budget. So regardless of what, regardless of what mallet instrument you're getting, vibraphone, xylophone, usually have 3 categories: hard, soft, medium. Can you guys write that down? Mallets. Hard, medium, soft, or soft, medium, hard. 3. What do you think is the safest thing to get up front if you have limited budget?
Medium.
Yeah. Medium everything, right? With glockenspiel, can you guys spell that word, glockenspiel? Bradley, spell it.
T-L-O.
G-L-O, Glock,
C-K.
C-K-N,
It's either I-N or E.
E-N, S-P-I-E-L, glockenspiel. Write down glockenspiel. Dash, orchestral bells, they're synonymous. So in a score, if you see like orchestral bells or glockenspiel, something glockenspiel is actually this device. Did you ever see, this is really old fashioned. There's your keyboard. This is glockenspiel. You would have this harnessed or strapped somehow, and a lot of times when you'd march, you don't see this nowadays. Have you ever seen it? This
I've
used to,
seen it, but not. It's
not like this because it's in the pit.
Yep.
This used to be marching. They would be in the battery marching, and they would play it like this. So imagine playing a keyboard like this, left to right, black notes, white notes. So this is like a true glockenspiel, but it's it's a keyboard, metal. Pretty, right? With glockenspiel. This is soft rubber, medium to soft rubber. You're not going to use these on glockenspiels. It's not going to cut in a band or an orchestra or a choir. With glockenspiel, you're going to want 2 sets of mallets, hard plastic, and what else?
Brass.
Brass. Yeah. So this is like really practical advice, folks. Got it? You understand? Yes. You're going to want 2 sets of mallets, hard plastic or brass. And you'll hear the difference, won't you?
Mm-hmm.
Brass bent against metal, it's going to be so piercing, and you're going to want that, and they're going to, even if it's really soft, it's going to be like a triangle. It's going to pierce through the ensemble. Hard plastic the sound will be enveloped a little bit by the other members of the ensemble. With xylophone, I wonder if you guys are going to have both a xylophone and a marimba. This is a xylophone right here. Looking at. Can someone go up and play a D major scale on it?
Sure.
Yeah, it's nothing but a.
I
But I wouldn't use these mallets. Actually, these were okay. Good. How about a? Well, you're a piano player.
Yes. I did Pitt in high school.
Oh, you did. A flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again. Clean it up again. Good. What's your first name?
Meg.
Megan. You guys, come down so you're like close to me. Megan, that was awesome. You played Pitt.
Yeah, I did marimba 1 year and then vibes 1 year for marching band.
Okay, play that again, or play D again. Okay, let me play it. Oh, I'm gonna try to copy it. Awesome.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Good.
Not good.
Not you.
But my comment was, Megan, you were really accurate. But like, and I can tell Bradley too. You're gonna have to be careful of this. So if you're a band director, and you have concert band and you have marching band with pit. It's all about visual, and there's a lot, and you got to produce volume. So Megan, you were look. That's like maybe 8 to 10 inches above. It's kind of sloppy.
Is that the one
but-
Sam's playing?
Probably,
Oh,
yeah.
I was
Log
like,
Cabin Blues. There's no way I could have played that like. Right. So you might have this like transition of telling kids, this, like, we're not on the marching field right now. We're in concert band.
Right.
We're more. You wouldn't think about being a vocalist or whatever, or pianist. You wouldn't play everything, from 6 inches up. There's subtlety here, and every now, Megan, I'm using you as a guinea pig. Play a flat scale again. Are you guys with me so far? Does that make a point? Okay. Good. Okay, let me play the same thing. I'm going to play it Megan's way, then I'm going to play it my way.
Okay.
You tell me the difference. Did I play all the right notes?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, next.
You played on the edge,
Yeah.
not in the middle.
Yeah. So if it's a good instrument and it's clean and the bars are in tune and the resonators don't have like a half an inch of dust, the bars, this is called the node. And Megan, you played it on the node a couple of times, N-O-D-E. Kids will, yeah, so do not play on the node. Write that down. Because that'll be maybe on a test. It's like, do you play on the node or not? You don't. The node, actually, can someone look up on their phone quickly definition of node, musical node or node?
And the note is the below, right?
Node is
Okay.
is
That's
no
what I was
node is
Thanks.
where listen, you'll hear the difference. Listen.
Oh.
It's very metallic, very hollow, surfacey, and then it opens up again. If it's a good instrument, it's going to basically be, if I go half an inch in or half an inch out, it's the same, but the node is, you're hitting surface. It's like choked. Raven, you have a phone on you? Or can you look
Mine's
up?
under my chair.
Okay, that's all right. Does anybody have a phone? Can you look up node? I'm just curious what the term node means. I've used it. I know what it is. It's that area on a bar that you hit. The node. N-O-D-E.
Point at which lines or pathways intersect or branch, a central or connecting point.
Right. That's a central or connecting point. Right. The node. Does that make sense? I mean, that's where this. And if the kids are working on solos and they're listen. If you're a flute player or vocalist and all of a sudden you played like you tried to sing a scale but like a C sharp or an F sharp sounded totally different. Did that sound different timbrally? Yeah, listen again. sticks out, right? Because I was hitting the note. I had a teacher, my teacher in college, put when I was playing fast scales in like that type of ragtime, he would put a masking tape right here and right about here. He said, "Here's your playing area, right here." You could do that as an exercise with young mallet players. In a pit, in a marching band, might be a little bit different. You want a little bit more visual, depending on the tempo and everything. But in terms of solo and concert band, or muddle, or more like subtle scenarios, does that make sense? Why would you travel from here to here if you can travel from here to here? That's the same sound, basically. That's what makes these instruments a little bit different than others. I mean, piano the same way, but you'd never go all the way up on the black notes and all the way down on the white notes, right? It's the same way here. Does that make sense?
Is it the same on like vibraphone and marimba?
Yeah,
Okay.
any mallet instrument.
Okay.
This exercise, if you want to visualize, I think that would be great with like first couple of week lessons. It's like, folks, students, friends, young musicians, get in the habit of playing within that range. It's efficient. God, that's ridiculous. Can you imagine those? But you will. I mean, if the music is, I'm not saying that there aren't times where you're going to do. My teacher, so rolling, right? The only way you can sustain, like on a vibraphone, you sustain by doing this. It's a different material. It rings. That doesn't. Done. So how do you make it sustain? Roll. R-O-L-L. Can you write that down? How do you sustain on marimba and xylophone? Sustaining on, you paraphrase it. Sustaining on marimba, xylophone means rolling. Roll, my friend. Roll. Roll.
Okay.
Roll. On one note.
Okay, do it.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Let's go over to the, okay, keep rolling. Okay. And you have to make it to marimba without stop rolling. Okay, I'm kidding. That's impossible. Okay, come over to the marimba now.
Oh.
That was a joke. Nobody laughed. Maybe you had to get over here without stop rolling.
Oh, I thought that was right.
This is a marimba. Larger version of the xylophone. The harmonic series is a little bit different. Okay, Bradley, roll on a B flat. Okay, this would be rolling is crucial. Let me roll two different ways. which way would you say it's more expressive?
B.
B. Why? What happened? Yeah, dynamics. Created by what though?
How fast you
How fat? Like the speed?
Just kind of like a swell.
Yeah. So gosh, if you really want to have a musical percussion section that really goes, oh my gosh, you guys are not just banging on stuff, but you're playing musically. They have to learn how to manipulate volume and speed. You know. That's a lot different than mechanical, right? There's expression. My teacher was very adamant. He had me learn how to somehow come down on the same exact location of the bar. And I still can't do it. You see how my right hand is coming down at an angle? He wanted me to play the bar in the same spot instead of this. This is fine. Whether it's this or that. Play. Do exactly what I just did.
Yes.
And then you'll see how hard
First
it is
time
to
for
actually play
everything.
percussion, right?
I'm excited.
This is a quarter note. So what kind of note value did I play?
Half.
Yep. Ready, go. One, two, off. Awesome. It was Bradley.
Thanks.
I wish I could remember your names. Tell me your name.
Maddie.
Maddie.
Madeline.
Madeline. Bradley, play what Madeline just played.
Okay. The same
Ready?
way.
Yep. Ready. Go. And stop. Nope, you didn't do it. Madeline, you do it. I want you guys to be aware of subtleties, right? Subtleties. One. And stop. Good.
I feel like I'm holding it wrong. Am I?
I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
Now play it like
Just do
Madeline.
it what she did?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
One,
Brad.
2, ready,
Get
go.
to my level.
Now change it. Ready,
Okay.
go. Somebody, so you didn't do it, you did it really well.
Thanks.
For like, not being a percussionist, good tempo and everything, but what was the difference?
Stiff.
Yeah,
There was
but-
tension
Holding it down,
Yeah.
like pressing down.
Pressing down.
instead of
Yeah.
like bouncing it.
Remember we talked about rebound, letting
Mhm.
the sticks do all the work. You did so much work. Whether you're holding a drumstick behind a snare drum or a bass drum, again, you're holding something. Remember I said you're holding something, you're playing something. And each one has a different feel. But, look, there's a difference between this, Madeline. It's easy to demonstrate it because we've been doing it for decades and decades, but do you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Do you see the difference?
Pressing versus just
What's that called? What? Say it again.
Fulcrum.
Fulcrum.
Yeah.
So be
sloppy. I don't care if you know, but be looser. Do it again.
Sorry, Megan.
So many, you know, that's just in their brain. It's in their limbs. They're gonna, yeah, there it is. That's better, right? Isn't it? Nope. Keep going. Let the mouths come off the bars. There you go. I don't care how slow you go. Let it come off. Raven, can you go give me those 2 blue mallets? Yes, sir. Go a little bit faster. Okay, freeze. Look, don't move your hands. Do it. Okay. Do you see how the thumbs are way up?
Yeah.
And we got that going on?
Yeah.
So now let go of all the other finger. That's a weird fulcrum. If you have that, and stop. Yep, let me have some other people do it. Good. Raven, you understand the importance of like the quality of the roll? Yeah, relax. You got control, but there's, yeah, keep going. Keep going. Now move. Now you got your right down. Move. Put your left hand in front of you. Yep. So you have both ways. Okay. Good. Listen. I'm not thinking I'm not thinking 16th notes or 32nd notes. That's one way to approach rolls, but like right now, I'm just trying to, you know, just different speeds, right? But watch. You tell me the difference. Look, watch. I'm right-handed. I'm left-handed. Did you hear the difference? We want equality, right? Because that's going to happen a lot. It'll be like you just hear one hand. So how do you teach a kid that? Well, beginning slow. How would you do that, Bradley?
Stick height. They would have to know the different, at least for me, they'd have to know the different levels of stick height first in order for them to bring down their right, if they're right-handed, I'd bring it down to half 0.5 instead of 1, because then their hands would be equal sounding.
Yeah, so as a teacher, you know, or you can have other students, like, can you roll on C again? Touch my stick now. A little faster. That's pretty good. Yeah, these, you know, that's what you're gonna have to do. is control their stick height, because if they're right-handed or left-handed, their rolls are going to sound like it's like a 16th note rhythm with accents instead of just. That's going to happen 80% of the time. In terms of accuracy, so is this similar to a piano? Say
In what?
Construction, in layout.
Yes.
It is. It is black, white notes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine playing a piano? Can you imagine playing piano with toothpicks taped to each one of your fingers, and so you don't actually touch the instrument? You're like 3 or 4 inches away, and you're trying to. That's what these are, So in a way, it's very similar to the piano, but in a way, maybe it's even a little bit more difficult in that aspect. Piano can get, we can hold 2, there are pieces where you're holding 3 mallets in each hand. So we're not dealing with 10, 5 in each hand. But I think that's, in terms of accuracy, that's what makes this a little bit more challenging than pianos, because you're not touching the instrument. Like the piano, if we're touching it, going, oh, here's the arpeggios, But depending on your technique, where are you holding, where are you standing, everything, it affects your accuracy. Does that make sense? Yeah. So because when I was in late high school, approaching college, I was doing a lot of auditions and competitions, and when you're a percussion player, you don't always have like timpani, snare drum, marimba to travel with as you just show up and it's like, oh, this is the instrument I'm playing. Think about that. Voice is the opposite. You're affected by environment and the atmosphere and the weather and everything. Your voice is sensitive, but like with percussionists, it's like, okay, if I can't travel with my own snare drum, my own timpani, my own bass, it's like I'm at the mercy of whatever is there. Really. Imagine showing up, it's like I can't sing my voice, I gotta sing someone else's voice. So, in terms of accuracy, let me demonstrate one exercise that's awesome. So you have a student, right, who you're going to go do a festival, and it's like, okay, you guys got 10 minutes to warm up. The best exercise a mallet player can do is to choose a note. The note that I would choose, first of all, would be D. And you're going to tell me why. Okay, explain the exercise. My body's in front of D, right? This is a quarter note, the pulse. I'm thinking eighth note triplets. Can you hear eighth note triplets in your head? That means 3 to 1. describe the exercise.
I'm not looking for a specific answer, but like, what did you see?
Going by half steps.
Out to an octave. I remember being in college, like having the first couple of marimba lessons with a guy named Gordon Stout, who's probably one of the best marimbas in the country. He just retired, but he had an instrument that was an octave and a half longer than this, and he chose a note.
He might have made a few mistakes. I'm not sure. I was flabbergasted. So I got to here, right? Imagine getting to here, 2 octaves, and past that. Well, his arms were completely extended, and it was probably 95% accuracy. Just demonstrating, not even warmed up. Muscle memory. Because with this instrument, like, if you're in a band, and again, this has to do with stand height too. When I do, because I used to do this too, I want to see the music like this, and when I'm seeing the music like this, I'm not seeing the keyboard at all. So I got in the habit of, when I'm performing solo mallet instruments, this is locked. Can you guys? No worries. I got room here. But this was down below, like this, as low as it could go, so that I'm seeing the music, and peripherally I can see B flat, E flat, F sharp, C sharp, G, D, C, E. I can see that, but because a lot of times you'll see the music stands up high, the kids are reading like this, and their instrument is like completely out of field of vision. So when they're playing, in an ensemble, a small ensemble or solo, doesn't that make sense? It's like, here's my notes, right? And I can kind of see the instrument. When you're in an ensemble, you have to split the difference in terms of stand height. These are really subtle things, but if you can grab it, it's like your stand is way too high or way too low. It's like, can you see me conducting? Can you see the instrument? It's a compromise. But with this, that's the best way to get, because another thing with unlike piano, even if we took this is called, so what size marimba is this? What size marimba? What is this? 1.
2, 3, 4,
And a third, 4 1/3. Yeah, you're probably going to typically have a 4 1/3 octave marimba if you're lucky. 4 1/3. If you can, put in your budget for a 4 1/3 octave, then you can play any type of high school literature. You agree? Mm-hmm. But imagine this going down to another C, and then another F. Now you're dealing with professional level, soloistic marimbas. They go down to about here, and these resonators go down and they come up, and they're beautiful, and they cost about $15,000. It's like buying a car. You're not going to get that in your high school. If you're lucky, you're going to get this. It took NNU several years to get this. This is probably, I don't know. Take a guess. Raven, Bradley.
How expensive it is?
Yeah, probably $4,000 or $5,000 with an educational discount.
How much is a 5?
$758, something like that.
Yeah, my high school had a 5 as well.
Right, so that's going down to the C. Did it go down to C?
Actually, yeah.
But so I'm going to have some of you guys come. What time is it, folks?
7:18.
So with this exercise, so why do you think I chose, watch D again? Here's quarter note. I'm tapping quarter notes. Adjust. Tritone, I split the octave in half. choose another note. Caitlin, choose a note.
F.
How is F different than D?
The pattern is
Your hands aren't
asymmetrical.
doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, so
One's on one.
each one, I mean, it would be like great. It's like, okay, boys and girls, every week when you come in as a bell ringer or a warm up, I want you to do one octave, not even an octave, maybe just a major third, but have them start on each note of the scale. D is the, yes or no, is D the only one that's symmetrical? No, there's another one. Look. There's one other.
A flat.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, A flat.
Lower, upper, lower, upper. Every other one's going to be a combination, which is just as valid, but maybe not start there. Right? Does that make sense?
Is there a name to this format? Or-
Let's come up with one right now.
Okay.
Let's come. Chromatic. You defined.
I was just gonna grab my notebook.
Contrary motion,
It's
chromatic.
Chromatic contrary motion triplet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got to be a catchier name.
I like it. CCC.
Contrary motion.
CCM.
Chromatic.
Chromatic.
Contrary. Commotion.
It's chromatic contrary motion.
I like commotion.
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 Yeah, come up with
Promotion.
that's another. This is off the topic, but like you tell the kids to come up with a name for it, and if they come up with a name for it, they own it and they're gonna do it. It's the mindset. You guys can probably remember it. It's like a teacher said, "Hey, you help me. Let's figure this out. You do it." It's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna call it this." They own it now. It's like, "Oh, I did this. I created it." So that's something a little bit broader than percussion methods. But if you want to have classroom management and have kids go, they're on task. It's like, okay, I call it contrary chromatic motion. What do you call it? Ramen noodle soup or something. It's like, whatever it is, it's like, okay, call it that. It's like, all right, we're going to go do that. Okay, who is going to come? So, the one thing, so here's different levels of CCM. What you don't want to do, you want to start slow, but look, so I'm playing three notes, right? Call it D sharp, D flat, E flat, C sharp, D. I can see all three notes. I can see all three notes now too. My mind, my field of vision, I'm going back and forth between this diminished thing, F, D, and B. Now it's augmented. Now it's perfect fourths. My eyes can still do that. Here's the tritone. Now I'm starting to get a little bit dizzy. Fifths. If I'm trying to, so now I'm going like minor six. You see how my eyes? Wow, that's a trip. I'm trying to see every note I hit, and I'm really actually getting dizzy. Right, so if you guys tried that, you would be like, you get dizzy. So step one is you focus on D. Your eyesight is only on D, and you're developing muscle memory, and peripheral vision. It's like, oh yeah, I can start to see that D sharp, and I can feel it too. little bit of muscle memory, right? There's muscle memory there. So step one is like, don't allow the kids, like you don't look at the peripheral, the contrary, up and down. You focus on ground zero. So the goal is to get to a major third out. Raven, go. Yeah. Okay, so you're relaxed. You stand right in front of D. So triplets. Right, left, left, left. Da, 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 da. Okay, stay. But you actually move too quickly.
Okay.
There's no rules. It's like, don't move until you're comfortable with that. Okay, stop. I mean, no, don't stop. Just play.
Oh.
Talk about mixed messages. Okay, keep going. Don't move anymore. Look at me now.
Oh.
No. Yeah, I'm the conductor. One, go.
Ah.
Okay, now when you go down and look just at D.
Ah.
Just stay there. You got it. Just trust your hands, right? Now look at me. Don't stop playing. Now I'm the conductor. You got muscle memory. You don't have to look at the instrument. Now go down and look at D. Now look at me. Now close your eyes. Trust. You got it. Good. Okay, look at me. Now look at the instrument and see how easy it is. Now this is sometimes difficult. Watch this. Look at me over here. Okay, good. Look at the D. Now move out to E and C. Yep. Only look at the D though. Move out. Look at me. Trust the muscle memory. Now you can go up to the upper keyboard. Good. Reestablish. Adjust. Good. These are minor thirds. D right up to F, D down to B. Your left hand has it. There you go. Now look at D. Now go to G and A. Good, those are fourths. Only looking at D.
Ah.
Now we're going to A flat, which is the tritone, splitting the octave in half. That might be a nice goal to get to the A flat. Now look at me. Good. Yeah. Adjust. Come down. Come down to the right hand. There you go. And stop. Hand them out to somebody else. Good.
Well, I mean, you play. Caitlin, you haven't done anything yet.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
We're going to go down the road. Does everybody understand the importance of this?
Good job, Raven.
Muscle memory,
Mind bending.
accuracy, right? Accuracy, because this is an interesting instrument because your hands are that far away from the target points, which is different than piano. D.
I like how piano works.
You guys getting tired of standing?
My shoes
You can lean
have
up.
terrible support.
Converse.
Should have worn the Crocs, man.
Do I need to make them more even? I feel like I'm accenting each.
I was definitely
Well, you
accenting
can,
my
like,
right
yeah,
hand when I was
with
doing
this,
it, so
with this actually, you go.
like I felt it.
You can accent those a little bit.
Like the ones? Or like,
Yeah, accenting the triplets, but not too much yet. Now C sharp.
I can't hear you over the.
When you're ready, move.
Oh.
Now look at me. Close your eyes. Okay, now look at D. Move to B and F. Look at me. Look at me. Adjust. Don't stop. Hear the sound.
Wait, is it the right note?
Start on D. Go to B. There you go. Now both black notes, B flat. Stay there. Don't rush until if you have to adjust. There's no rush. You're defeating the purpose. So right now, right, you can look at the conductor. If you've memorized your music, you can pay attention to the conductor. You know where that space is. You don't have to like always be looking down. Mallet players are going to get lost because they're always looking down. It takes a while. It takes weeks, months, years. But if a kid gets used to this as a bell warmer, they're going to be more accurate, believe me. Now go to A and G. G. Yep. Yep. Adjust. Yes. You're going too far? There you go. Here. Okay. Hand them out to next in line.
Next.
Pinky. Right, left, right, left. Okay. Relax, relax. Left, right, left. Now you can go to B and now you can go to E and C. Yep. Stay there. Don't move. Look down and look at D. That's easy. You see C and E so easily. Close your eyes. Okay, look down at D, only the middle note. Now go to B and F. B flat. Good. Look at me. Conductor. Look at D. Close your eyes. Yes. Trust your muscles. Go down to G and A. A flat. But here, A flat.
Right here.
Look at me. A flats. Adjust. Good. Ow.
Sorry.
Good. Next.
Megan.
This is a really good exercise, folks. Especially if you got kids traveling, you're going to different band rooms, different, Because every one of these instruments is different. Even if it's the one in your own band room, they're going to accuracy.
It's kind of fun.
It is fun. It's like playing like rock band.
Yeah.
How accurate can you get? Guitar Hero. Marimba Hero!
I would buy that.
PS4 Marimba Hero.
Imagine setting that up in your room. It's just
How many colors?
That's hilarious. Stay.
I bet everyone in our class would play.
You're playing whole steps now. Up to E and down to C.
Every key is a different color.
Right. That'd be
Keep
insane.
going. You have the music memorized, but now you don't have to actually look at the instrument. Do you look at the instrument when you're playing piano if you have it memorized? No,
No. I don't ever look at my hands. It messes me up.
That's right, but like metal players are always like looking down to make sure they're hitting the right notes. Relax, don't go too fast. Close your eyes. Trust your hands, muscle memory. I'm pushing you guys, this takes time. But if you can train the kids, it's just a couple of minutes a day to go there and do this once. Okay, look at the D now. Now that's easy when you're looking down. But you're not looking at the outside notes. Now move. Look at D. Move. Fourths. Yeah, only look at D, trusting your hands. Go out one more A flats now. Tritone. That's splitting the octave in half. If you could get the, junior high kids to go that far accurate, because their music's not going to have those huge skips like that. But if they can do it, everything else is going to be accurate. Good. Next.
Let's go, Brad.
Bradley.
cut time.
No, choose another note. Choose another note.
Choose another note.
Not D.
F sharp.
Okay, F sharp. Same here. Now it's going to be more like this. Which is, You're only looking at F sharp. Then move out again.
F sharp.
Sorry.
Have two kids do it at once.
Gosh, I cannot do that. Yeah, I can't.
No,
do
you're
those
not
skips
up here.
with-
You're here. You're here.
It's like
Does it with yoga? Just
1, 2, change. See the next move before you make it. Ready, go. A. Now B flat and D. B and C sharp. C and C. There's the tritone. The tritone's always going to be symmetrical, regardless of what. Did you guys understand that? The tritone? Next, who didn't go yet?
It's a diminished one or augmented.
wow. Someone's doing there.
The tritone looks like the exact sound of the 4 elevator beats.
there. Don't move until I tell you to. Look at me. Visualize what you're doing. Close your eyes. Good. Move. Fourths. Tritones, A flats. Good. Okay, go out and play octaves.
What was that?
No, see how your mind.
Oh, harder.
Yeah, of course it is. Oh, you're only
Gosh,
looking at
no,
D.
I don't know if I can do that. I think I could do that if I worked my way out.
Of course you could, Raven. Try to do octaves.
I'm not.
You guys are understanding what I'm asking you to do? Octaves. No, but you can look at low D.
That was it, right? Was it?
That's D and this is D, correct?
Ah.
Right, left. Go further down here. There you go. Look at me now. What a beautiful adjust. Don't stop, adjust.
Okay.
Trust. There's a magnet there. That's really difficult for somebody that's never adjust. Muscle memory. You do this for a couple of hours. You leave the mermaid, come back, you're probably going to be pretty accurate. Right, good. I pushed him, right? Does that make sense? What time is it?
43.
It's like
That's some difficult stuff.
43.
I try to approach it with the same mindset that I approach the trombone because a lot of that is guesswork. Too.
Muscle memory. So all I'm talking about is this is this is a mallet instrument, similar to the piano, but your hands aren't touching it. Kids are going to be very inaccurate. How do you increase their accuracy? This is a great exercise. Does that make sense? Another thing I do, one other thing, can you guys stand up for a second? Hold these.
What a magic
One. I'm going to go, what does anacrusis mean?
It's a pickup note.
That's correct. I also knew a girl in high school named Anna Crucis. No, I'm kidding.
my last name is Cruises. She would be Anna.
Do you know someone's last name is Crucis?
No.
Anna Crucis. So I'm going to use the C as Anna Crucis. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So D is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Would you say most of that exercise was horizontal or vertical? Yeah, so horizontal. This is a little bit more advanced, but if you have a kid who's good at the marimba, you know, is accurate, it's like. My teacher went up to here.
Dang.
Maybe and 1 and 2. Not this. No, not this. This. Windshield wipers. And 1 and Bradley, go. Does everybody understand that exercise? Yeah, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Go up to A.
All the way to A, okay.
And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Slower, slower. 2 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 2. Yeah.
Weird. So
Always
weird.
gets
Do it
louder
again,
when
no,
you
do it
count
again.
out.
Yeah.
It always gets
And
louder.
1 and 2 and 3 and it always gets louder.
Yeah, it was doing that when you did it too.
Yep. Hold on. Was that the opposite?
Yep.
It's control of, guess what? What's this called?
Fulcrum.
Fulcrum. Well, you know why I got louder? Because velocity. Velocity, go, move. But to have control of that, think about, it's all the same. It's musicality, right? I'm just showing you guys how to be musical on a different instrument. Bradley, choose somebody to do that. And then we're almost done. Yeah. Look, so, and maybe you say there, but it's this motion. It's not this. It's not up, down. It's left to right. Because is my arm really moving any? No, it's not doing this. It's not going from in front of C in front of F. Right now I'm choosing C, and I'm just learning that distance. Does that make sense?
Thanks.
So guys, let's go slower. Bum, bum, bum. One and 2 and 3 and let's just go up to G, so we're in 3, 4. Watch. And 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 1 and 2 and 3. Good. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Yes. Yes. Wow. Blue is your color. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2.
I feel like I'm moving.
Yep. You felt this, right? You didn't have to say it right.
Yeah.
It's more
Wrist?
this. Yeah,
Wrist?
it's like flat. I call it like windshield wiper.
Is it in your like fulcrum in
Ready? Ready and go. So and 1. Ready and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and. It's like a little arch. Flip your wrist over a little bit more like look. Yeah.
guys, I mean,
My
like,
shoulder just gets really tight.
yeah, you know, I mean, I'm pushing you guys through these exercises, right? But do you guys understand those two exercises? This one and this. Fluidity, right? Musicality, but flowing more, right? Next week, we're gonna go bass drum, timpani, crash cymbals. Okay, here. Right?
Yes.
Can you guys put these mouths back over there? So look, crash cymbals. I remember being in a master class in college, and there's this graduate student who's a jazz vibe. It's like, oh, really? I got to try to play crash cymbals? I can do this. And he took these crash cymbals, and he played them like this. Like, here I go. I'm not going to do this right now. He played them once, and he turned both of them inside out.
Like that.
Yeah, because he did it with so much velocity, and he did it so perfectly incorrect that he came down, created a vacuum, and they kind of stuck together. And he popped them, and they turned inside out. These are very complicated. To crash two cymbals together correctly. I haven't, I can do it because I've done it for decades, but I haven't done it in several years. But I'll show you guys next week how to
Is that how
play.
you hold them? Or
Yeah.
do they have like? I was always like taught to put it in.
That's for marching.
Oh.
It just,
Okay,
yeah,
those are concert
you have straps, right? Yeah, I never know because in concert band, you might have to like
You just
play.
gotta-
You might have to play, and you don't want to have to like unstrap them. But if you're
Stuck.
marching and you got them for like 3 miles,
Yeah.
not 30 measures, but
Yeah.
3 miles, then you're gonna strap them in. But no, with concert band. And then onto something else. You don't want them strapped in.
That
So
makes
we'll
sense.
deal with that, bass drum and timpani next week. Got it?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So sometimes the letter names are like carved into the wood underneath.
Some of them
Some of them have them like on the belt.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma has one. I'm suspecting that she got it from her dad, who was the director of school after Cisco during the 80s, because it's got the letter names on it. But
A lot of student models will have the letter names etched in them.
yeah,
They're kind of like
Yeah, the
training wheels. You don't need them. I mean,
yeah,
it's like you're not going to buy a professional piano with the names.
yeah.
But you might buy a entry-level keyboard that has letters, that light up or something.
Yeah.
They're training wheels.
Okay.
I also have a question.
Yeah.
Should we get access to the drum room to practice these things?
You guys have access to the band room?
To the band room? Yeah, we could, if it's during the day, and
It gets
you can only do it during the day, because after that they lock it up.
I would ask, let me email out Lolly tonight to see if my percussion method students can have access, okay?
awesome.
In terms of like what guys, just read what you need to read. I read it too. The 4th time I've read the book.
Nice.
My philosophy is you read the book, you have questions for me, you wrote down questions, I only answered a few of them, because I know what the practical stuff, I know what to teach you guys. Something, next week I'm going to force myself not to go back there so quickly, but to like sit here for 20 minutes or half an hour and go, okay, give me questions, what page is it on, and we'll go in there and discuss it, okay? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay? Because the last thing I want to do is to sit up here and go, okay, page 268, second paragraph, what's this? You guys have this information. If you have any questions, you ask them. I took one question tonight, right?
Yeah, just one.
Because I wanted to get back.
And then we got in there.
So, look, next week I'm going to take at least one question from everyone before I go back. Yes.
Really quick question.
Yeah.
So, bass drum.
Yeah.
it's in the book to like have them like kind of anticipate the beat. Is that what you teach like right at the get-go? Like
Oh,
for
okay.
middle school, like so that because it says it's kind of like
Yeah,
So it's just like a delay.
There's a delay. Okay, last thing we do, and then you guys can leave. Come back here. Stand Yeah, it doesn't tell you how to anticipate. You know how conductors sometimes are always a little bit ahead of the beat in orchestras?
Just perched up there. Oh.
Okay, give me, let's say we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good.
You're gonna give me 2 measures of prep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you want the bass drum player to come in. Okay? I'm in 6th grade.
okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you guys are gonna have to get used to. Do you guys take conducting classes here?
Yeah, they're offered
later.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've taken a few, but you're gonna have to learn how to keep time and conduct. Okay, ready? So I'm a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I come in late?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, do it again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Did I come in late?
I could
It's like
have
incredibly late.
Okay, how about this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I was on time.
Pretty much.
A lot of it has to do with training. Right. So a smaller child, bigger mallet, more weight. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Percussion.
It's like preparatory beat. So, oh, you know what it is? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's training, especially with timpani and bass drum. It's training the kids. If you can go, okay, when you come in on the downbeat, so then you're moving your mallet on the beat before it. It's a preparatory beat.
Okay.
So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, up,
Why
down.
can't I zoom in?
Do that
No,
again.
I was trying to zoom it in.
So stationary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, up, down. You see how that was preparatory? Because if I don't do that, it's this. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I try to clean everything. But here's the preparatory beat. So what is the preparatory beat? It depends on the tempo and the meter. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's say we're in medium 4/4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I have a downbeat. Where do you think my mallet's going to come up to go down? Probably at least on the end of 4, if not 4. Listen to the difference. So here's preparatory beat on the end of 4. Give me 4/4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. You see that? How I came out on the end of 4. Watch. Ready? 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Here's coming out on 4. Ready? 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. It's about the preparatory beat. It's a little bit complex, but if you can get the kids to train, it's like, oh, I come out before I go down. It's not like.
So that's not like. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It
Right,
just,
right. Because especially with larger mallets, you have to come out. It's like, when do I come out? Well, you say when I count. 1, 2, 3, out, in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're gonna get late hits if the preparatory beat isn't in tempo.
Okay.
Got
That
it?
makes a lot more
All
sense.
right. I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. See you next Tuesday.